Did you know that emotional distance in marriages often starts decades before either partner notices? Why do so many long-term marriages feel more like roommates than soulmates? If your wife seems distant, it's not just aging, it's something deeper, and you might be able to fix it. As couples age, emotional gaps can silently grow, leaving many husbands confused and disconnected. But here's the truth. This distance isn't inevitable. Small, unnoticed patterns create emotional walls over time. The good news? Understanding these patterns can help rebuild intimacy, even after years of growing apart. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll discover 5 surprising reasons why wives grow distant. And more importantly, what you can do today to bring back connection and warmth. Let's dive in. Many husbands feel a quiet shift in their marriages as the years go by. The laughter fades, conversations become routine, and intimacy feels distant. She's still there, but something has changed. She's less affectionate, less talkative, and seems emotionally withdrawn. At first, you might think it's just part of aging. Maybe it's hormones, stress, or just the natural course of a long relationship. But here's the truth. Distance in a marriage doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly through small, unnoticed patterns that create emotional walls over time. Have you ever asked yourself, why doesn't she seem as interested in me anymore? Why do our conversations feel more like logistics than real connection? If so, you're not alone. Many husbands silently struggle with these questions, not realizing that there are deeper reasons behind the emotional gap. But here's the good news. Once you understand what's really happening, you can take simple, meaningful steps to rebuild closeness and connection. In this video, we'll uncover 5 surprising reasons why wives grow distant, and more importantly, what you can do today to change that. Keep watching. Here are 5 key reasons and solutions. Number 1. Emotional neglect over time. In the early years of a relationship, connection comes naturally. Couples talk for hours, share their dreams and make each other feel special. But as time passes, routines take over. Conversations shift from deep and meaningful to practical and predictable. Discussions about bills, schedules and responsibilities replace heartfelt talks. Appreciation that once came effortlessly is now assumed. Many husbands don't even realize when this shift happens. It's not intentional, but emotional neglect builds slowly. Over time, a wife may start to feel unseen, unheard, and unappreciated. She may still love her husband, but she no longer feels deeply connected to him. And when that emotional bond weakens, so does the desire to engage, communicate, and be affectionate. Women often crave emotional connection more as they age, not less. Unlike men who may prioritize stability and companionship, women often need consistent emotional engagement to feel close. When that connection fades, she may begin to withdraw, not out of resentment, but because she no longer feels emotionally safe or valued. This is when a husband might notice subtle signs. She becomes quieter, less affectionate, or less interested in spending time together. At this stage, many men assume the problem is external, stress, hormones, or just the passage of time. But in reality, emotional neglect is often the silent culprit behind a wife's growing distance. The good news? Emotional connection can be rebuilt, often through small, consistent efforts. And the simplest way to start is through appreciation. Each day, tell her one thing you love, admire, or appreciate about her. It doesn't have to be grand or poetic, just genuine. I love how thoughtful you are. You looked beautiful today. I really appreciate everything you do for our family. These small acknowledgements might seem insignificant, but they have the power to reignite warmth and connection. When a woman feels seen and valued, she naturally opens up again. Over time, these small moments can reverse years of emotional distance. Taking just 5 minutes every day to ask, "How was your day?" and genuinely listening can make a difference. No distractions, no rushing, just presence. These little shifts don't require big speeches or dramatic gestures, just daily acts of love that remind her she still matters. And when a woman feels cherished, the distance starts to fade. Keep watching. because the next reason might surprise you. It's one of the most overlooked causes of emotional distance in long-term marriages. Number 2, unaddressed resentment and past hurts. Every marriage faces conflicts. Some are big, like betrayals or broken promises, while others are small, forgotten anniversaries, dismissive comments, or unfulfilled expectations. In the moment, these issues may seem minor, and many couples choose to move on without fully addressing them. But here's the problem. Just because something is forgotten doesn't mean it's forgiven. Over time, unresolved conflicts pile up, creating layers of resentment. A wife may not openly express her frustration, but deep down, she remembers the moments she felt unheard, unsupported, or unappreciated. And while she may not bring these issues up anymore, they slowly change how she interacts with her husband. The warmth fades, the emotional connection weakens, and eventually distance sets in. Resentment is one of the most powerful forces that erode intimacy. Unlike arguments, which bring issues to the surface, resentment operates in silence. It doesn't cause explosive fights, it causes withdrawal. A wife who once shared everything may start holding back, avoiding deep conversations, and emotionally shutting down. The danger of unaddressed resentment is that it doesn't just stay in the past, it seeps into the present. A simple question like, "How was your day?" might be met with a cold, distant response. Physical intimacy may decline, not because love is gone, but because unresolved feelings create an invisible barrier. The longer these emotions remain buried, the harder it becomes to rebuild the connection. Breaking this cycle requires one simple but powerful step: opening a conversation. Not a defensive debate, not an argument, just a space for honesty. Try asking, "Is there anything I've done in the past that still bothers you?" Then just listen. No interruptions, no justifications. Just allow her to express what's on her heart. Many husbands hesitate to do this because they fear what might come up. But the reality is, most wives don't need a perfect apology. They just need to feel heard and validated. A simple acknowledgement like, "I didn't realize that hurt you, but I understand now," can be incredibly healing. Once resentment is acknowledged, it loses its power. Small moments of understanding can rebuild emotional intimacy faster than any grand romantic gesture. Instead of feeling like adversaries, you begin to feel like partners again. It's never too late to heal past wounds, and the sooner you start, the sooner you can bring back the closeness that time and unspoken words may have taken away. Stay with me, because the next reason is something that happens naturally with age, but if ignored, it can quietly push couples further apart. As couples grow older, their individual needs and priorities shift. Early in marriage, both partners may be focused on building a career, raising children, or achieving financial stability. During those years, the relationship often revolves around teamwork, managing responsibilities, solving problems, and pushing forward together. But as time passes, those shared goals change. Children grow up, careers settle, and the constant busyness of life slows down. This is when a crucial shift happens. While men often seek stability and comfort in their later years, many women begin craving deeper emotional connection. They want meaningful conversations, shared experiences, and a renewed sense of closeness with their partner. Unfortunately, this is where many couples unknowingly drift apart. A husband may feel that everything is fine because the relationship is stable, but his wife may feel something is missing. She may long for more quality time, more affection, or more shared experiences, but if she doesn't express this directly, her husband may not realize the emotional distance growing between them. When needs evolve but communication doesn't, disconnection grows. A husband may assume that since they're not arguing and life is running smoothly, everything is okay. Meanwhile, his wife may feel emotionally unfulfilled, leading her to withdraw, lose interest in intimacy, or stop engaging in conversations like she used to. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness. Many men don't realize that as their wives enter different life stages, their emotional needs shift. What once made her happy may no longer be enough. If a husband continues treating the relationship the same way he did 10 or 20 years ago, he may unknowingly be missing opportunities to reconnect. Bridging this gap starts with one simple question. What's something you wish we did more often together? This question does two powerful things. It acknowledges that her needs matter and may have changed. It opens the door for connection without pressure or assumptions. Once she shares her thoughts, act on it. If she says she wants more date nights, plan one. If she says she misses deep conversations, start making time for them. If she wishes you were more physically affectionate, don't wait for her to ask. Show her love in small, everyday ways. These changes don't have to be dramatic. Sometimes simply holding hands during a walk, sitting down for coffee together, or reminiscing about old memories can reignite emotional closeness. The key is recognizing that just because you've been together for years doesn't mean her needs have stayed the same. When a woman feels understood and valued, she naturally opens up again. And when both partners actively nurture the relationship, aging together becomes a journey of deepening love, not growing apart. Keep watching, because the next reason reveals one of the biggest yet most overlooked factors in emotional distance, and it's something every couple can change. In the beginning of a relationship, everything feels exciting. Couples try new restaurants, explore new places, and experience life together in fresh and unexpected ways. This sense of novelty keeps the relationship dynamic and engaging, but as time goes on, routines take over. Days become predictable, conversations feel repetitive, and the spark that once fueled the relationship begins to dim. Many couples don't even realize when this shift happens. At first, the familiarity feels comfortable, but over time, comfort can turn into monotony. When couples stop creating new experiences together, they slowly stop growing together. And when that happens, emotional distance begins to take root. Shared novelty, the experience of trying new things together, is one of the strongest drivers of emotional bonding. Studies show that couples who engage in new and exciting activities together report higher levels of happiness and intimacy. Why? Because new experiences trigger the release of dopamine, the same chemical responsible for the thrill of early romance. When a wife starts feeling distant, it's often because the relationship has become too routine. She may not even realize it, but if every day looks the same, if conversations feel predictable, and if there's nothing new to look forward to, emotional disconnection naturally follows. The relationship stops feeling like a source of excitement and instead becomes just another part of daily life. Bringing back emotional closeness doesn't require grand gestures. It simply requires change. Trying something new together, no matter how small, can reignite the sense of partnership and excitement that once defined your relationship. It could be as simple as taking a different route on your evening walk, cooking a new recipe together, planning a weekend getaway to a place you've never been, learning a new skill like dancing, painting, or even gardening. The key is to break out of routine and create fresh experiences as a couple. Even small changes in your daily life can spark new conversations and deepen your connection. Instead of spending every evening watching TV separately, try playing a board game, going for a drive, or reminiscing about your favorite shared memories. Another powerful way to reconnect is through adventure. If possible, travel somewhere new, even if it's just a short trip. Exploring unfamiliar places together helps reignite curiosity and reminds you why you enjoyed each other's company in the first place. The goal isn't to force excitement, it's to create opportunities for it to naturally return. When a couple engages in new experiences together, they strengthen their bond, break free from routine, and make their relationship feel alive again. Keep watching, because the next reason is something that affects nearly every long-term marriage. But most couples don't talk about it openly. As couples age, the body changes in ways that affect emotions, energy levels, and even personality. Yet, in many marriages, these shifts are rarely discussed openly. Instead, when a wife becomes distant or less affectionate, many husbands assume it's a personal issue, something she's feeling about them or the relationship. In reality, biological changes often play a significant role. Women go through hormonal shifts at different stages of life. During pregnancy, perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. These changes can lead to mood swings, fatigue, lower libido, and even feelings of anxiety or depression. A woman who once felt energetic and emotionally available may suddenly struggle with irritability, stress, or a sense of emotional numbness. At the same time, men also experience hormonal changes. Testosterone levels decline with age, which can lead to lower motivation, energy, and emotional responsiveness. When both partners are going through silent physical shifts without acknowledging them, it can create a cycle of misunderstanding and frustration. When physical and hormonal changes go unrecognized, emotional distance can grow. A husband might feel rejected when his wife seems less interested in intimacy, but she may be struggling with changes in her body that she doesn't fully understand or know how to express. She may feel overwhelmed by emotions she can't control, leading her to withdraw. This lack of communication can cause both partners to feel isolated. The husband might assume she doesn't care anymore, while the wife might feel that he doesn't understand what she's going through. The result? Emotional walls replace emotional intimacy. The key to overcoming this challenge is open, judgment-free communication. Instead of assuming distance is a personal rejection, encourage honest discussions about physical and emotional health. A simple conversation starter could be, "I've noticed you've seemed a little different lately. I just want to understand what you're feeling." No pressure, just an open space. When a woman feels safe to talk about what's happening in her body and mind, she's more likely to open up. If she expresses concerns about changes in mood, energy, or libido, support her in exploring solutions, whether that's a doctor's visit, lifestyle adjustments, or just having more patience and understanding. Small lifestyle shifts can also help. Prioritizing healthy sleep, as lack of rest intensifies hormonal imbalances. Encouraging stress relief activities like walks, meditation, or hobbies that bring joy. Maintaining physical touch without pressure, holding hands, hugging, and small gestures of affection can reinforce emotional security. When a couple recognizes that aging brings biological changes, but those changes don't have to create distance, they can work together instead of drifting apart. The most important takeaway? Aging doesn't have to mean losing connection. With awareness, communication, and small daily efforts, emotional closeness can grow even stronger over time. Engagement is key to making sure this message reaches as many people as possible. So I want to hear from you. Which of these reasons do you think is the most common in long-term marriages? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your insight might help someone else going through the same thing. And if you're still watching, stay with me, because the last insight is the most surprising. It's something most couples never talk about, but it can make all the difference in rebuilding connection. If this message resonates with you, take a second to hit the like button. It's a small action, but it helps more couples understand these hidden challenges and find ways to reconnect. And if you're looking for more ways to strengthen your relationship, be sure to subscribe, because we dive deep into topics that truly matter. Aging changes relationships in ways that are often hard to anticipate. The bodies we once knew so well change, our priorities shift, and the pace of life itself slows down. But the good news is, aging doesn't have to create emotional distance. In fact, with small, intentional efforts, honest conversations, and a willingness to experience life together in new ways, it's possible to bring back the closeness that time may have faded. Think of your relationship as a garden. Over time, weeds may grow, and the flowers might lose their vibrancy. But that doesn't mean the garden is beyond repair. It just needs some attention, care, and nurturing. Relationships are the same. As we age, it's easy to think that the distance between partners is a sign of the end. But your relationship isn't over. It's evolving. It's transitioning into a new chapter, and with the right awareness and effort, that chapter can be even deeper and more fulfilling than before. The keys to reigniting that connection are simpler than we often think. Open communication, emotional empathy, and shared growth. These don't have to be grand gestures. They can be as small as asking your partner how their day went, planning a spontaneous date, or just being present without distractions. These small acts accumulate and make a huge difference over time. And if you've already noticed some emotional distance creeping in, it's important to know that it's not too late. Rebuilding emotional intimacy doesn't have to be complicated. It just requires a willingness to understand one another more deeply and to invest in the relationship again. The bond you share can become stronger than ever, but it requires that both partners meet each other halfway. Ultimately, the goal is to evolve together, not apart. Your relationship can deepen as you both grow older, by understanding each other's changing needs, embracing new activities, and making time to communicate openly. The small daily efforts can go a long way in keeping your emotional connection alive and thriving, no matter how many years you've been together. Remember, aging doesn't have to distance you from the one you love. It can be the catalyst for an even richer, more fulfilling partnership. Embrace the change and make it a journey you take together. Remember, every step you take toward understanding and reconnecting is a step toward a deeper, more lasting love.